Welcome back. Our democracy and the fall of apartheid did not happen overnight. It's been a long journey of struggle for many of our people. But despite all of the hardships and the struggle, people have been able to rise above their circumstances and make a success of their lives. One such person with me right now, and she is quite a remarkable person with a remarkable story. I am pleased to welcome to the loft, Nicky Edwards. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you.
Nicky, we have such an incredible duty with such a big platform to be able to raise awareness and celebrate 30 years of democracy. But before we get into all of that, I just want to find out a little bit about you. Where do you come from and where was the foundation placed when it comes to Nicky Edwards?
Thank you. And I grew up in the boomer generation. You know, at the height of the apartheid, and growing up running through the streets of the Cape Flats, playing games and just enjoying life as a child. I grew up in a big family, a loving family, a family that was, you know, the church was very important, but also a family that was not exempted from trauma and pain. You know, in the late 70s and in the early 80s, I went to high school in Mitchell's Plain, and it was at the height of apartheid and the height of riots in the streets, burning tires, Caspers driving down the streets. And I was part of that revolution because I wanted change. I was a little freedom fighter in high school. We mobilized the masses and we wanted to get rid of Bantu education. And for us, we wanted equal opportunities and we want equal educational rights as well. But most importantly, we wanted Nelson Mandela to be freed. And alongside him, the likes of Alan Boesak. And we fought the fight. It wasn't easy.
You spoke of a very tumultuous time, a violent time, and a very trying time. And I can only imagine the difficulty as a person of color, a woman person of color, who has to educate themselves, not only educate themselves, but you need to find a career, find a job, and find your own path. How were you able to cope?
Sure. Even through all of that, I managed to rise. You know, for me, it's always about overcoming. And I often believe that as humans, we are destined for greatness, no matter the circumstances we find ourselves in. You know, and I entered the corporate world. I eventually landed myself into the banking sector of all places. Where there was a course available, I grabbed it. I used the skills. There was an opportunity. I said, I put my hand up. I said, I'll do this. I stepped into situations where it was also very uncomfortable. You're coming as a woman of color into the banking industry, and it was a very elitist department that I was in as well. So you needed to also carve out your path, you know, in a way with integrity and righteousness also. And I've learned a lot. And through, I'd say to you in the beginning, I grew up in the boomer generation. Boomers were hardworking people. You know, they persevered, they built the big nations, you know, and so with that hard work, I used those skills and applied those skills in the banking sector, you know, that I used there.
We are building up to our voting day on the 29th of May. So as we do celebrate Freedom Day, we are also reflecting on the very first time you casted your vote. What was that experience like and what did it mean to you?
I'm just going to have to show you this.
Oh, my goodness!
I have to. People laugh at me because I'm so attached to this. I still don't have a barcoded ID. I still don't have a barcoded ID, but think of 1994, you know, I was pregnant with my son. And I was
haven't changed. You look exactly the same. I'm not going to show everyone your details, but when it comes to the picture, you look... She had a little bob. That's all I'll say. She had a little pixie cut bob. You look beautiful.
With black hair. Natural grey.
Yeah.
But it was magical. So just imagine now, this was a lot of emotions building up from me fighting for freedom in the late 70s, early 80s. I actually get so emotional. You know, my husband and I am pregnant with my son, and we were living in Johannesburg, standing in those long queues that snaked for the entire day, but it didn't even feel that long because you can imagine the conversations, the banter. Here I am, voting for Nelson Mandela, that I fought for so long to be released. And I'm voting with my heart for this man that is going to bring freedom and change the trajectory of South Africa. It was magical. My heart was full. Not just that, I had the opportunity, and the year that Nelson Mandela was released, to take a group of youth from different races into Soweto, into Diepkloof, to his house. He comes out.
Ooh.
I meet this man that I have fought for, been beaten for, been gassed for, been bulleted for. And here he is, inspiring this youth to say, reach your potential. We have what it takes.
Wow.
You know what it is also when Steve Biko said, in times of adversity, we need to have hope. We need to have hope for our country. We need to have hope for our nation, but we need to have hope for ourselves. And that is what we need to take into South Africa. We still need to rise above so many things, but we can only do it with hope in our hearts.
Amen and amen. Well, we are continuing the conversation with you a little bit later. I am so inspired myself, sitting in front of what is not only a remarkable woman, but an honourable woman. What a remarkable story of hope and incredible determination. And I know that many people watching will be inspired by Nicky's words and the passion and commitment. But stay tuned, as we are going to continue this conversation with Nicky and one of the ladies that she has helped.